Drishti, please start the reading, please.
All right. So yesterday, if I'm not wrong, we left off at page 96.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to
Okay.
start with methods for practicing Qigong.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Please.
Okay. So in order to practice Qigong correctly, we should remember that our life energy flows through our whole body. We should know how to regulate it in its many parts. Shen, regulating the body by adopting the correct posture. It is important to be firmly rooted to the ground. Shi, regulating the breath until it is calm, steady, and peaceful. Hissen, regulating the mind, the most complicated part as it implies emptying the mind of thoughts. Chi, regulating the life force through the regulation of three prior elements so that it flows naturally. Shen, regulating the spirit. The spirit is both strength and root in battle, as Yang Zhuing Ming explains in the essence of Taiji Qigong. In this way, the whole organism will be prepared to work together towards a single goal. The five elements of Qigong. So sorry. One of Qigong's best known exercises is a series representing the five elements: earth, water, wood, metal, and fire. These series of movements seeks to balance the five currents of energy in order
Just
to.
a second, Drishti. Yes, Devama.
They had read this, no, ma'am?
Okay. Then that's what Bhavish said. We have to read. Just give me a second. Let me look at it. 96, Devama. This is just there. No, Devama, this is right. You haven't finished reading this because everything, all the names seem same. But yeah, okay. Yeah, just listen in. Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry.
No problem. No problem. Yes, Drishti. Sorry to disturb you.
No, it's okay. So sorry. This series of movements seeks to balance the five currents of energy in order to improve brain and organ function. There are several ways to do these movements. In this case, we're following the model of Professor Maria Isabel Garcia Monreal from the Qigong Institute in Barcelona. Earth. Stand with your legs apart and your feet directly below your shoulders. Turn your feet outward slightly to strengthen the posture. Keep your shoulders relaxed and down and your arms loose at your sides, slightly away from your body. This is Wu Qi or rooted posture. As you inhale, raise your arms in front of you until your hands are level with your shoulders, your palm facing down. So sorry. Exhale as you bend your knees and bring your arms down until your hands are at level with your stomach, your palms facing in. Hold this position for a few seconds, focusing on your breath. Water. Starting from earth posture, bend your knees into a squat, keeping your chest upright and exhaling throughout. Press your coccyx down to stretch your lumbar spine. As you inhale, stand to return to earth posture. Repeat repeat twice for a total of 3. Wood. I'm so sorry. Starting from earth posture, turn your palms upward and open your arms to the side, forming a circle as you inhale until your hands are at level with your clavicle. Turn your hands so that your palms and elbows point downward while keeping your shoulders relaxed. Reverse the movement as you exhale, making a downward circle with your arms until you reach your initial position. Repeat twice for a total of 3. Metal. Starting from earth posture, raise your arms until your hands are at level with your sternum. Turn your palms toward each other, about 4 inches apart, with your fingers relaxed and slightly separated, pointing upward. As you inhale, move your hands away from each other until they are shoulder width apart. As you exhale, Bring your hands toward each other until they are back in position 2. Repeat twice for a total of 3, observing the concentration of energy as you bring your hands together in front of your lungs. Pyo. Starting from earth posture, bring your hands level with your heart as you inhale, with one hand slightly above the other and your palms facing each other. Rotate your hands to feel the energy of your heart. Turn from your waist gently to the left, keeping your torso relaxed and your forearms parallel to the ground. With your palms still facing each other, separate your hands, bringing one up until it's level with your shoulder and the other down in front of your abdomen. Turn from your waist gently to the right, keeping your torso relaxed as your forearms parallel to the ground. As you exhale, sorry, let your hands come back together in front of your heart. With your palms still facing each other, separate your hands, bringing one up until it is at level with your shoulder and the other down in front of your abdomen. Completing the series. Starting from earth posture, inhale as you bring your hands level with your shoulders, palm facing down. As you exhale, lower your arms to rest at your sides, returning to the initial Wookiee posture. Shiatsu. Created in Japan in the early 20th century, principally for the treatment of arthritis, shiatsu also works on energy flow through the application of pressure with the thumbs and the palms of the hands. In combination with stretching and breathing exercises, it seeks to create equilibrium among the different elements of the body. It is not important that a Tao Yin have a name. It is imitating something or is engraved in jade. What is important is the technique and the essence of what is really practiced. Stretching and contracting, bending and lifting of the head, stepping, lying down, resting or standing, walking or stepping slowly, screaming or breathing. Everything can be a Taoyuan. Jihong. Breathe better, live longer. The book Shusen Shisu, known in the West as 10 books on the cultivation of perfection, dates back. I'm so sorry. Dates back to the 13th century and is a compendium of materials from diverse sources on developing the mind and body. It quotes, among others, the celebrated Chinese doctor and essayist Sun Simiao, who lived during the 16th century. Sun Simiao was a proponent of a technique called the six healing sounds, which involves the coordination of movement, the breathing, and pronouncing sounds with the purpose of bringing our souls to a peace of calm. The six sounds are su, pronounced like sh with a deep sigh, which is associated with the liver. He, pronounced like her, with a yawn, which is associated with the heart. Si, pronounced like sir, with a slow exhale, which is associated with the lungs. Shui, pronounced like shui, with a forceful exhale, which is associated with the kidneys. Hu, pronounced like hu, which is associated with the spleen. And she, pronounced like she, which connects the whole body. The following poem by Sun Simiao offers clues about how to live well according to the season. It reminds I'm really sorry. It reminds us of the importance of breathing and suggests that as we breathe, we visualize the organs associated with each of the healing sounds. In spring, breathe shu for clear eyes, and so wood can aid your liver. In summer, reach for heat so that heart and fire can be at peace. In fall, breathe sea to stabilize and gather metal, keeping the lungs moist. For kidneys, next breathe shui and see your inner waters calm. The triple heater needs your seat to expel all heat and troubles. In all four seasons, take deep breaths so your spleen can process food. And of course, avoid exhaling noisily. Don't let even your own ears hear you. The practice is most excellent and will help preserve your divine exceller. It might feel confusing to be presented with all the Eastern traditions we have introduced in this chapter. The takeaway is that they all combine a physical exercise with the awareness of our breath. These two components, movement and breath, helps us to bring our consciousness in line with our body instead of allowing our mind to be carried away by the sea of of daily worries. Most of the time, we are just not aware enough of our breathing. Number four, resilience, and wabi sabi. How to face life's challenges without letting stress and worry age you. What is resilience? One thing that everyone with a clearly defined ikigai has in common is that they pursue their passion no matter what. They never give up, even when the cards seem stacked against them or they face one hurdle after another. We're talking about resilience, a concept that has become influential among psychologists. But resilience isn't just the ability to persevere. As we'll see in this chapter, it is also an outlook we can cultivate to stay focused on the important things in life, sorry, rather than just what is most urgent, and to keep ourselves from being carried away by negative emotions. In the final section of the chapter, we will explore techniques that go beyond resilience to cultivate anti fragility. Sooner or later, we all have to face difficult moments. And the way we do this can make a huge difference to our quality of life. Proper training for our mind, body, and emotional resilience is essential for confronting life's ups and downs. Nana Korobi Yaoki of fall 7 times, rise 8, a Japanese proverb. Resilience is our ability to deal with setbacks. The more resilient we are, the easier it will be to pick ourselves up and get back to what gives meaning to our lives. Resilient people know how to stay focused on their objectives, on what matters without giving into discouragement. The flexibility is the source of their strength. They know how to adapt to change and to reversals of fortune. They concentrate on the things they can control and don't worry about those they can't. In the words of the famous Serenity Prayer by Reinhold Niebuhr, God give us grace to accept with serenity the things, the things that cannot be changed, courage to change the things which should be changed, and the wisdom to distinguish the one from the other. Emotional resilience through Buddhism and Stoicism. Siddhartha Gautama, Buddha, was born a prince of Kapilavastu, Nepal, and grew up in a place surrounded by riches. At 16, he so sorry, he ma- sorry, he married and had a child. Not satisfied by his family's wealth, at 29 he decided to try a different lifestyle and ran away from the palace to live as an ascetic. But it wasn't asceticism that he was looking for. It didn't offer the happiness and well-being he sought. Neither wealth nor extreme asceticism worked for him. He realized that a wise person should not ignore life's pleasures. A person can live with these pleasures, but should always remain conscious of how easy it is to be enslaved by them. Zeno of Citium began his studies with the Cynics. The Cynics also led ascetic lives, leaving behind all earthly pleasures. They lived in the street, and the only thing they owned was the clothing on their backs. Seeing that cynicism did not give him a sense of well being, Zeno abandoned its techniques and found the school of Stoicism, which centers on the idea that there is nothing wrong with enjoying life's pleasures as long as they do not take control of your life as you enjoy them. You have to be prepared for those pleasures to disappear. The goal is not to eliminate all feelings and pleasures from our life, as in cynicism. but to eliminate negative emotions. Since their inception, one of the objectives of both Buddhism and Stoicism has been to control pleasure, emotions, and desires. Though the philosophies are very different, both aim to curb our ego and control our negative emotions. Both Stoicism and Buddhism are, at their roots, methods for practicing well being. According to Stoicism, our pleasures and desires are not the problem. We can enjoy them as long as they don't take control of us. The Stoics viewed those who were able to control their emotions as virtuous. What's the worst thing that could happen? We finally land our dream job, but after a little while, we are already hunting for a better one. We win the lottery and buy a nice car, but then decide we can't live without a sailboat. We finally win the heart of the man or woman we've been pining for, and suddenly we have a wandering eye. People can be insatiable. The Stoics believe that these kinds of desires and ambitions are not worth pursuing. The objective of the virtuous person is to reach a state of tranquility, apatheia, the absence of negative feelings such as sorry, anxiety, fear, shame, vanity, and anger, and the presence of positive feelings such as happiness, love, serenity, and gratitude. In order to keep their minds virtuous, the Stoics practice something like negative visualization. They imagine the worst thing that could happen in order to be prepared if certain privileges and pleasures were taken from them. To practice negative visualization, we have to reflect on negative events, but without worrying about them. Seneca, one of the richest men living in ancient Rome, lived a life of luxury, but was nonetheless an active Stoic. He recommended practicing negative visualization every night before falling asleep. In fact, he not only imagined these negative situations, he actually put them into practice. For example, living for a week without servants, or the food and drink he was used to as a wealthy man. As a result, sorry, he was able to answer the question, what's the worst thing that could happen? Meditating for healthier emotions. In addition to negative visualization and not giving into negative emotions, another central tenet of Stoicism is knowing what we can control and what we can't, as we see in the Serenity Prayer. Worrying about things that are beyond our control accomplishes nothing. We should have a clear sense of what we can change and what we can't, which in turn will allow us to resist giving into negative emotions. In the words In the words of Epictetus, um, it's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters. In Zen Buddhism, meditation is a way to become aware of our desires and emotions and thereby free ourselves from them. It is not simply a question of keeping the mind free of thoughts, but instead involves observing our thoughts and emotions as they appear, without getting carried away by them. In this way, we train our minds to not get swept away in anger, jealousy, or resentment. One of the most commonly used mantras in Buddhism focuses on controlling negative emotions. Om Mani Padme Hum, in which Om is the generosity that purifies the ego, Ma is the ethics that purifies jealousy, Ni is the patience that purifies passion and desire, Pad is the precision that purifies bias, Me is the surrender that purifies greed, and Hum is the wisdom that purifies hatred. Um, do we want to have a small discussion of what we've read so far, or should I just carry on? Does anyone have anything to say about what we've read, Devamba?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to say we should concentrate on what we can do, and we should just ignore what we can't do. We should try our level best to do that, and we should not worry about which is behind our control, and and we should try our best, ma'am, first, and we should pursue our dreams and goals, no matter what. We should try try and yes, ma'am, that's it.
All right. Yeah.
And they spoke about negative feelings and positive feelings, ma'am. Anxiety, fear, shame, and all those are negative feelings, and positive feelings are happiness, love, those are gratitude.
And what do you think about it, Drishti? Since you're reading it, are you just reading it, or are you actively reading it?
I am actively reading it. The part that stuck out for me the most was when they said that we should like breathe softly, for us also to not hear our own breathing. That really like stuck out to me because usually I panic a lot for the smallest of things, so I start hyperventilating usually. Um, so maybe like calming myself down or like getting my thoughts in order first before coming to a conclusion or before coming to a reaction. So that's what I thought about it.
Good, good. I'm glad. See, the whole point of this exercise is that not only do the listeners learn, so do the readers. You know,
Yeah,
that is the beauty of books like these.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you can go ahead. Are
Are
you
you,
okay to go ahead, or do you want me to take over for a while?
can you take over for a while? I need to go get my medicine.
Yeah, just a second, please. Let me just open the book to where
Yeah.
you have stopped.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's page 108 of the PDF.
Yeah, one second. One zero eight, right?
Yeah,
You stopped where the here and now and the
yeah,
impermanence of things.
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
You're welcome. The here and now and the impermanence of things. Another key to cultivating resilience is knowing in which time to live. Both Buddhism and Stoicism remind us that one second, please. There seems to be some issue with my yeah. Yeah. Buddhism and Stoicism remind us that present is all that exists and it is the only thing we can control. Instead of worrying about the past or the future, we should appreciate things just as they are in the moment, in the now. The only moment in which you can you can be truly alive is the present moment, observes the Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh. In addition to living in the here and now, the Stoics recommend reflecting on the impermanence of the things around us. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius said that the things we love are like the leaves of a tree. They can fall at any moment with a gust of wind. He also said that changes in the world around us are not accidental, but rather form part of the essence of the universe, a rather Buddhist notion, in fact. We should never forget that everything we have and all the people we love will disappear at some point. This is something we should keep in mind, but without giving into pessimism. Being aware of the impermanence of things does not have to make us sad. It should help us love the present moment and those who surround us. All things human are short lived and perishable, Seneca tells us. The temporary, ephemeral, and the impermanent nature of the world is central to every Buddhist discipline. Keeping this always in mind helps us avoid excessive pain in times of loss. Wabi Sabi and Ichigo Ichie. Wabi Sabi is a Japanese concept that shows us the beauty of the fleeting, changeable, and imperfect nature of the world around us. Instead of searching for the beauty in perfection, we should look for it in things that are flawed, incomplete. This is why the Japanese place such value, for example, on the Ikigai. I'm sorry, I'm not able to. For example, on an okay irregular or cracked teacup. Okay, yeah. Only things that are imperfect, incomplete, and ephemeral can truly be beautiful, because only those things resemble the natural world. A complementary Japanese concept is that of Ichigo Ichie, which could be translated as this moment exists only now and won't come again. It is heard most often in social gatherings as a reminder that each encounter, whether with friends, family, or strangers, is unique and will never be repeated, meaning that we should enjoy the moment and not lose ourselves in the worries about the past or the future. The concept is commonly used in tea ceremonies, Zen meditation, and Japanese martial arts, all of which place emphasis on being present in the moment. In the West, we have grown accustomed to the permanence of the stone buildings and the cathedrals of Europe, which sometimes gives us the sense that nothing changes, making us forget about the passage of time. Greco Roman architecture adores symmetry. Just a second, please. There seems to be some issue with my. Okay, where am I? Okay. Yeah, the Greco-Roman architecture adores symmetry, sharp lines, imposing facades and buildings, and statues of gods that outlast the centuries. Japanese architecture, on the other hand, doesn't try to be imposing or perfect. Because it is built in the spirit of wabi-sabi, the tradition of making structures out of wood presupposes their impermanence and the need for future generations to rebuild them. Japanese culture accepts the fleeting nature of the human being and everything we create. The grand shrine of Ise, for example, has been rebuilt every 20 years for centuries. The most important thing is not to keep the building standing for generations, but to preserve customs and traditions, things that can withstand the passage of time better than structures made by human hands. The key is to accept that there are certain things over which we have no control, like the passage of time and the ephemeral nature of the world around us. Ichigo Ichie teaches us to focus on the present and enjoy each moment that life brings us. This is why it is so important to find and pursue our Ikigai. Wabi Sabi teaches us to appreciate the beauty of imperfection as an opportunity for growth, beyond resilience, anti fragility. As the legend goes, the first time Hercules faced the Hydra, he despaired when he discovered that cutting off one of its head meant that two would grow back in its place. He would never be able to kill the beast if it got stronger with every wound. As Nassim Nicholas Taleb explains in Antifragile, things that gain from disorder. We use the word fragile to describe people, things, and organizations that are weakened when harmed, and the words robust and resilience for things that are able to withstand harm without weakening. But we don't have a word for things that get stronger when harmed up to a point. To refer to this kind of power possessed by Hydra of Lerna, to talk about things that get stronger when they're harmed, Taleb proposes the term anti-fragile. Anti-fragility is beyond resilience or robustness. The resilient resists shocks and stays the same. The anti-fragile gets better. Wow. Catastrophes and exceptional circumstances offer good models for explaining anti-fragility. In 2011, a tsunami hit the Tohoku, Tohoku region of Japan, doing tremendous damage to dozens of cities and towns along the coast, most famously Fukushima. When we visited the affected coast 2 years after the catastrophe, having driven for hours along cracked highways and past one empty gas station after another, we passed through several ghost towns whose streets have been taken over by the remnants of houses, piles of cars, empty train stations. These towns were fragile spaces that have been forgotten by the government and could not recover on their own. Other places, such as Ishinomaki and Kesenuma, suffered extensive damage but were rebuilt within a few years, thanks to the efforts of many. Ishinomaki and Kesenuma showed how resilient they were in their ability to return to normal after the catastrophe. The earthquake that caused the tsunami also affected the Fukushima nuclear power plant. The Tokyo Electric Power Company engineers working at the plant were not prepared to recover from that kind of damage. The Fukushima nuclear facility is still in a state of emergency and will be for decades to come. It demonstrated its fragility in the face of an unprecedented catastrophe. The Japanese financial markets closed minutes after the earthquake. Which businesses did the best in the aftermath? Stock in the big construction businesses had been steadily on the rise since 2011. The need to rebuild the entire coast of Tohoku is a boon for construction. In this case, Japanese construction companies are anti-fragile, since they benefited enormously from the catastrophe. Now let us take a look at how we can apply this concept to our daily life. How can we be more anti-fragile? Step one, create redundancies. Instead of having a single salary, try to find a way to make money from your hobbies, at other jobs, or by starting your own business. If you have only one salary, you might be left with nothing should your employer run into trouble, leaving you in a position of fragility. On the other hand, if you have several options and you lose your primary job, it, it might just happen that you end up dedicating more time to your secondary job and maybe even make more money at it. You should have beaten that stroke of bad luck and would be, in that case, anti-fragile. 100% of the seniors we interviewed is in Ogimi had a primary and secondary occupation. Most of them kept a vegetable garden as a secondary job and sold their produce at the local market. The same idea goes for friendships and personal interests. It's just a matter, as the saying goes, of not putting all your eggs in one basket. In the sphere of romantic relationship, there are those who focus all the energy on their partner and make him or her their whole world. Those people lose everything if the relationship doesn't work out. Whereas if they've cultivated strong friendships and a full life along the way, they'll be in a better position to move on at the end of the relationship. They will be anti fragile. Right now, you might be thinking, I don't need more than one salary and I am happy with the friends I've always had. Why should I add anything new? It might seem like a waste of time to add variation to our lives, because extraordinary things don't ordinarily happen. We slip into a comfort zone, but the unexpected always happens. sooner or later. Drishti, you back?
I'm sorry, can I please have like 5 more minutes?
Okay,
So
fine, fine.
sorry.
No, I just wanted to check. Okay. Step two, bet conservatively in certain areas and take many small risks in others. The world of finance turns out to be very useful in explaining this concept. If you have $10,000 saved up, you might put $9,000 of it into an index fund or a term deposit and invest the remaining thousand in 10 startups with a huge growth potential, say $100 in each. One possible scenario is that three of the companies fail, you lose $300, and the value of three other companies goes down, you lose another $100 or $200. The value of three goes up, you make $100 or $200, and the value of one of the startup increases 20-fold. You make nearly $2,000 or maybe even more. You still make money even if the three of the businesses go completely belly up. You have benefited from the damage, just like the Hydra. The key to becoming anti-fragile is taking on small risks that might lead to great reward without exposing ourselves to dangers that might sink us, such as investing $10,000 in a fund of questionable reputation that we saw advertised in the newspaper. Step three. Oh, get rid of things that make you fragile. We're taking the negative route for this exercise. Ask yourself, what makes me fragile? Certain people, things, and habits generate losses for us and make us vulnerable. Who and what are they? When we make our New Year's resolutions, we tend to emphasize adding new challenges to our lives. It's great to have this kind of objective, but setting good riddance goals can have an even bigger impact. For example, stop snacking between meals. Eat sweets only once a week. Gradually pay off all debt. Avoid spending time with toxic people. Avoid spending time doing things we don't enjoy simply because we feel obligated to do them. Spend no more than 20 minutes on Facebook per day. To build resilience into our lives, we shouldn't fear adversity because each setback is an opportunity for growth. If we adopt an anti-fragile attitude, we'll find a way to get stronger with every blow, refining our lifestyle and staying focused on our ikigai. Taking a hit or two can be viewed as either a misfortune or an experience that we can apply to all areas of our lives as we continuously make corrections and set new and better goals. As Taleb writes in Anti-Fragile, we need randomness, mess, adventures, uncertainty, self-discovery, hear episodes, all these things that make life worth living. We encourage those interested in the concepts of anti-fragility to read Nicholas Taleb's Anti-Fragile. Life is pure imperfections, as the philosophy of Wabi Sabi teaches us, and the passage of time shows us that everything is fleeting. But if you have a clear sense of your ikigai, each moment will hold so many possibilities that it'll seem almost like an eternity. Okay, so we just have the um, epilogue. And how much time do we have? We have another 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So we'll finish off the epilogue so that we can start off the new book on Monday.
Should I read again?
Yes, please. Finish off the epilogue.
Yeah. Epilogue. Ikigai, the art of living. Mitsuo Aida was one of the most important calligraphers and haikuists of the 20th centuries. He is yet another example of a Japanese person who dedicated his life to a very specific ikigai, communicating emotions with 17-syllable poems using a shodo calligraphy brush. Many of Aida's haikus philosophize about the importance of the present moment and the passage of time. The poem reproduced below, could be translated as in the here and now, the only thing in my life is your life. In another poem, Aida simply writes here, now. It is an artwork that seeks to evoke feelings of mono no aware, the melancholy appreciation of ephemeral. The following poem touches on one of the secrets of bringing ikigai into our lives. Happiness is always determined by your heart. This last one, also by Aida, means keep going, don't change your path. Once you discover your ikigai, pursuing it and nurturing it every day will bring meaning to your life. The moment your life has this purpose, you will achieve a happy state of flow in all you do. Like the calligrapher at his canvas, or the chef who, after half a century, still prepares sushi for his patrons with love. Conclusion: our ikigai is different for all of us, but one thing we have in common is that we are all searching for meaning. When we spend our days feeling connected to what is meaningful to us, we live more fully. When we lose the connection, we feel despair. Sorry. Modern life estranges us more and more from our true nature, making it very easy for us to lead lives lacking in meaning. Powerful forces and incentives, money, power, attention, or success, distract us on a daily basis. Don't let them take over your life. Our intuition and curiosity are very powerful internal compasses to help us connect with our ikigai. Following those things you enjoy and get away from or change those you dislike, be led by your curiosity and keep busy by doing other things that fill you with meaning and happiness. It doesn't need to be a big thing. We might find meaning in being good parents or in helping our neighbors. There's no perfect strategy to connecting with our ikigai, but what we learn from the Okinawans is that we should not worry too much about finding it. Life is not a problem to be solved. Just remember to have something that keeps you busy doing what you love while being surrounded by the people who love you. The 10 rules of Ikigai. We'll conclude this journey with the 10 rules we've distilled from the wisdom of the long living residents of Ogimi. Number 1, stay active. Don't retire. Those who give up the things they love doing and do well lose their purpose in life. That's why it's important to keep doing things of value, making progress, bringing beauty or utility to others, helping out, and shaping the world around you, even after your official professional activity has ended. Take it slow. Being in a hurry is inversely proportional to the quality of life. As the old saying goes, walk slowly and you'll go far. When we leave urgency behind, life and time take on a new meaning. Don't fill your stomach. Less is more when it comes to eating for long life. Long life too. According to the 80% rule, in order to stay healthier longer, we should eat a little less than our hunger demands instead of stuffing ourselves. Surround yourself with good friends. Friends are the best medicine. Therefore, uh, therefore, confiding worries over a good chat, sharing stories that brighten your day, getting advice, having fun, dreaming, in other words, living. Get in shape for your next birthday. Water moves. It is at its best when it flows fresh and doesn't stagnate. The body you move through life in, needs a bit of daily maintenance to keep it running for a long time. Plus, exercise releases hormones that make us feel happy. Smile. A cheerful attitude is not only relaxing, it also helps make friends. It's good to recognize the things that aren't so great, but we should never forget what a privilege it is to be in the here and now in a world full of so many possibilities. Reconnect with nature. Though most people live in cities these days, human beings are made to be part of the natural world. We should return to it often to recharge our batteries. Give thanks to your ancestors, to nature, which provides you with the air you breathe and the food you eat, to your friends and family, to everything that brightens your day and makes you feel lucky to be alive. Spend a moment every day giving thanks, and you'll watch your stockpile of happiness grow. Live in the moment. Stop regretting the past and fearing the future. Today is all you have. Make the most of it, make it worth remembering. Follow your ikigai. There's a passion inside you, a unique talent that gives meaning to your days and drives you to share the best of yourself until the very end. If you don't know what your Ikigai is yet, as Viktor Frankl says, your mission is to discover it. The authors of this book wish you a long, happy, and purposeful life. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, the book is over.
I'm sorry, I was on mute. I didn't realize. So, Devamma, what did you learn? Drishti, what did you learn? And I can tell what I learned. Let's go one after the other.
Ma'am, I have learned that we should live the present moment, worry rather than worrying about past and future. And being imperfection is kind of lucky, ma'am. According to me, we can get more opportunities to grow ourselves, ma'am. And uh, yes, ma'am, we should not get lost in present or worrying about future, ma'am.
Good. No, did you like the book?
Yes, ma'am. Especially last uh, 2 days chapter, ma'am.
Okay, last two chapters you really liked.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Actually, so did I. Drishti?
For me, these 10 rules that we read right now, in that the give thanks, rule number 8, and rule number 9, live in the moment. I think I'm so sorry, I'm coughing very frequently. Um,
No, it's okay.
I think for point 9, live in the moment specifically, I think like as a student, like I'm constantly either thinking about the mistakes I've made, maybe in like my examinations, or what possible things might come in my examinations. Because right now my exams are going on. And I like maybe like for the upcoming paper, which is Spanish, if I'm not wrong. So I keep thinking, oh, what types of questions can come, what types of text can come, what I can expect. So maybe like instead of actually focusing on studying the language, I'm focusing on what will come in the paper, which is making me more unproductive. And then give thanks. It says like to be grateful and maybe appreciate people in your lives and everything around you. It makes you feel happier. And I have realized that it really does make you happier. Because I have gone to my mom and said, oh, I'm really grateful for what you have done for me. And it makes you feel happy as well because you're making someone else's day better as well. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Drishti. So I will go with what I liked about the book. By the way, I usually, when the reading starts of a book and I introduce, I don't usually follow. But this book, I was literally, I had no choice to follow because I loved it so much. See, personally, I have a great respect for the Eastern philosophies. I mean, philosophy as a subject really holds my interest because I am all into self development, learning, and how what can I do to get better. I love to do things like that. And this is like a compendium of what is the things you can do to get better. And frankly, it is like a life guide how you can live however long you live. Let's not put numbers to the life you have. Instead, how much life you can put in the life you have, what you can do, how important certain principles are.
Yeah.
And frankly, this book is full of so much of wisdom. You should, I would say, it is a compendium of wisdom, and you can keep you can keep referring to it all the time. I'm so glad we took this book. I'm so glad we did this book. I hope the rest of the books that we follow that will follow this will be equally good.
Mm-hmm.
And Devama, I'm so very happy that you're always there.
Yes,
And
ma'am, I like this book, ma'am. From starting till now, I like this book, ma'am. Very inspiring to me.
yes, it is very, very inspiring. And the whole point, we tried taking other books, but the response was not as much as when we took books that are self-help. So we will continue in the same vein. And frankly, it's a beautiful, beautiful book. And let's close this meeting and this book by being grateful for being up listening to this. Yeah. After all,
Yes,
grateful is truly what defines us, makes us better.
Yeah.
Yeah. We give thanks to the people who wrote it, thanks to the people who contributed to it, thanks to the people who read it. And, it's a whole world of thanks. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
You too. And all the best for the rest of your exams.
Thank you.